Most people know, in a general way, how they feel. They can produce a word when asked: stressed, tired, okay, fine. And the word is not a lie. Exactly, it is the most available summary of something more complex, that they have not had the time or the space, or perhaps the permission to fully examine. Because feeling things fully requires pausing. And most people are moving too fast, managing too much, and carrying too many other people's needs to pause long enough to ask what is actually happening underneath the surface of their ordinary days. Psychology has a name for the difficulty most people have, identifying their own emotional states with any real precision. Researchers call it low emotional granularity, the tendency to experience emotions in broad, undifferentiated categories, rather than with the specificity that would allow them to be accurately named, understood, and worked with. The person who knows they feel bad, but cannot locate whether what they are feeling is grief, or anger, or loneliness, or shame, is experiencing low emotional granularity. And what research by Lisa Feldman, Barrett, and others consistently shows is that the ability to name an emotion with specificity is not just descriptive, it is functional. It changes the brain's response to the emotion itself. The named thing is metabolized differently from the unnamed thing. The unnamed thing accumulates. And most people are accumulating. Before we go any deeper, I want you to do something first. 7 questions. Don't answer how you wish things were. Answer what is actually true right now, in the quiet that no one else has access to. The only condition is honesty. Question number 1. What are you carrying right now that you haven't told anyone? A. Nothing significant. I'm fairly open about what I'm going through. B. A few things, but nothing I feel urgently needs to be said. C. Something real that I keep setting aside because the right moment hasn't arrived. D. Something I haven't even fully put into words for myself yet. It exists more as a feeling than a thought. Question number 2. Think about something good in your life right now. Alongside the genuine gratitude, is there something else sitting next to it? A. Not really. The good thing feels clean and uncomplicated. B. Sometimes. A quiet yes, but that I don't always examine. C. Yes. Something harder, sadness, fear, or something I can't quite name that I've been treating as illegitimate. D. The good things feel distant somehow, like I'm observing them rather than fully inside them. Question number 3. Is there something or someone you are angrier at than you have been willing to say out loud? A. No. I'm generally honest with myself about what frustrates me. B. Maybe. There's some irritation I haven't fully examined. C. Yes, and it's wearing a different name. Disappointment, detachment, exhaustion. D. I'm not sure. I've been numb to certain feelings for long enough that I've lost track of what's underneath. Question number 4. Is there something you have been mourning that you've never officially called grief? A. Not that I'm aware of. B. Perhaps. A relationship or version of something that changed and I haven't fully processed. C. Yes. A possibility that closed. A person I used to be. A life I didn't get to try. D. I carry a sadness I can't attach to anything specific. It's just there, and has been for a while. Question number 5. Is there a version of yourself that almost nobody gets to encounter? A. Not really. I'm mostly the same across different relationships and contexts. B. Slightly. There are parts of me that surface only in certain companies. C. Yes. The fullest version of me stays somewhere else, present but unavailable in most relationships. D. I'm not sure the fullest version shows up anywhere, including when I'm alone with myself. Question number 6. Is there something you have been carefully not moving toward? And do you know what the fear, underneath, that avoidance actually is? A. I don't think so. I'm generally moving toward the things that matter to me. B. Maybe one thing. I've been hesitating, but I haven't fully examined why. C. Yes. There's something I've been circling around for a while without getting closer to. D. There are several things. I've been operating within a smaller radius than I'm capable of, and I know it. Question number 7. Underneath everything you are managing right now, What do you actually want? A. I have a fairly clear sense of what I want, and I'm moving toward it. B. I have a partial sense. Some things feel clear, others don't. C. I've been so focused on managing everything else that the question of what I want has gone quiet. D. I genuinely don't know anymore. That part of me has been deferred for so long. I've lost access to it. Hold whatever surfaced for a moment. If any of this is landing somewhere real in you, take a moment to like the video. It helps more people find conversations like this one. And if the kind of honest, careful, emotional examination this script is inviting is something you want more of, subscribing makes that work possible. Now, here is what those answers are actually pointing at. If your answers landed mostly in the A range, you are in genuine contact with your emotional life. Not without difficulty, but with enough openness that feelings reach the surface before they accumulate into something harder to name. If your answers landed mostly in the B range, there is material present that has not yet been fully attended to. The awareness is there. The examination hasn't quite happened yet, and the gap between noticing and looking directly is where things tend to quietly deepen. If your answers landed mostly in the C range, you are carrying named experiences that haven't been given their right names yet, the anger calling itself disappointment, the grief that isn't attached to a death, the loneliness that coexists with a full life, the fear operating as avoidance. Each of those reframing is not a verdict, it is a door, and doors, named clearly, can be opened. If your answers landed mostly in the D range, the emotional system has been running in the background for long enough that its contents have become difficult to access. This is not a sign of emotional absence. It is a sign of emotional overload, a system that has had to compete with too many demands for too long without adequate space to fully register what it is carrying. Here is what emotional psychology consistently reveals about the experience of not knowing what you feel. It is not the same as feeling nothing. It is the product of a life in which emotion has had to compete with demand for bandwidth, and demand has won frequently enough that the emotional system has learned to operate without full representation in conscious awareness. The feeling is happening. It is simply not being allocated the attention it would need to rise to the level of language. What the naming does when it happens, when a person gets quiet enough and honest enough to say not just, "I feel bad," but "I feel lonely," in a way that has nothing to do with how many people I have around me, or "I feel grief for a version of my life that I never got to try." What the naming does is allow the emotional system to do what it was designed to do, process and move, not in a dramatic, cathartic sense. In the quiet, metabolic sense of something being finally digested rather than stored. You cannot address what you cannot name, and you cannot name what you haven't let yourself pause long enough to actually feel. You are allowed to know what is happening inside you. You are allowed to take the time to find out, and you are allowed to find that what is there is more complicated and more real than the summary word you have been offering to people who ask. The real answer to how you are doing has been waiting for you to ask it properly. What is the emotion you have been feeling the longest, that you have never given an accurate name to? Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.